Hello and welcome to the Rich Revolutionaries podcast. Today is a solo episode with me, your host, Chenisse, the New Earth business and embodiment mentor. And really, what that means is I bring this essence of wild, feral, free, feminine leadership into every area of your life, starting from the inside of your body radiating outwards so that all of the places you were told you are too much, like you're too wild, you're too chaotic, you're too sensitive, you're too emotional, you're too blah, 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 sensual, sexual, blah, 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 all the things they say, right? That is your magnetic leadership begging to come online. So we activate the hook out of what I call the audacious frequency so that your desires are leading you through the world rather than what the world would rather you lead with is being your fear, your mind, and control. The big vision beyond the vision beyond the vision of everything that I do is to rebuild the village in, again, every area of our life. We're holistic ecosystem builders around here. And so rather than the traditional either session by session model of business or the big business empires, the way I look at your business is through the lens of the village. And so leadership is collaborative. Offers are meant to exist within the context that you are creating for your life with the land, with your family, with your children, with your partner, with the people who are co-creating this new earth reality alongside you. So that's what's up around here. Okay. Today is another solo episode, as I might have already said today. In the last one, I shared about this big grief that came with the karmic clearing and the timeline reset of the what was going on that time astrologically. It was a full or new moon in Cancer with a Mercury retrograde. So now we're navigating another big cosmic event with the total solar eclipse in Leo. And we have the total lunar eclipse in Pisces coming up in a couple of weeks. So we're in the eclipse portal right now. And I'm going to share what has come through on the other side of since the last solo episode. And there's more that's coming through now that's shaking the foundations up again. But let's meet each other in a moment and have what I'm calling a yapcast because your girl's got some things to say. Okay. First of all, I don't know if I've told you on the podcast yet where the heck I am because every time I'm in a new environment. But right now, here is my current home, and I'm recording this episode from the front house of the restaurant that exists on this property called Tukana. I'm in Mexico on the Oaxacan coast near Puerto Escondido, if you know Mexico. And so one of the things that has happened since the solo episode of the last one is we've reopened this restaurant. And by we, I mean my partner, Miguel, and the owner of the land here, um, Pamela. And she had this restaurant open called Tukana a while ago, full time, and it became this unsustainable project. So she closed the doors and went on a 2 month trip to Baja, which is when I came back from my 2 month trip from Canada. It's been very interesting, the soul contract and like connection points, but we're not going to get into that too deeply right now. What I do want to get into is my role in this restaurant reopening has been to assist with the social media marketing. It has been really fun. It's been really fun to flex my skills at social media marketing with a brick and mortar, very tangible in-person business. And I just threw up a reel yesterday that we filmed last week that followed one of our friends, like a vlog style, coming in from Puerto, which is 40 minutes from here, coming to the restaurant and then going for a day at the beach surfing. And I got, last time I looked, nearly 4,500 views. And this account only has a couple hundred followers and it's brought in new followers. People have shared it. So I'm really excited to be able to contribute in this way. And my other part of contribution to the restaurant project is helping to launch some product lines. Oh, it would have been so convenient if I had a jar of the starfruit mango marmalade that we are selling. We've already sold, I think, 5 or 6 jars just from having it on display here in the restaurant without doing any official launch. Eventually, we want to get the marmalade in all of the holistic stores here that are like Canela and Moringa if you're a local. I don't know if any locals to the area or digital nomads that are living in the area listen to this podcast. But if that is you, send me a DM. Let's connect. I've been dreaming up getting some entrepreneur meetups to happen here because we're only open on the weekends. So we could infuse that with one of our opening days, or we could have the whole space to ourselves and make like a whole day retreat style gathering to do some networking, connection, content creation, masterminding, and really infuse that village model into a collective of New Earth entrepreneurs. So if you're around, hit me up. Let's do it. Okay. What else is going on? I've been having so much fun with the creative part of the restaurant, and I love what I do with my own brand of Evolving Consciousness on my own page on Instagram, Evolve with Chenisse, and this and my Facebook and TikTok and um, YouTube. And it's been so fun to get to kind of step outside of my own existence for a moment and infuse my creativity in somebody else's project, like taking photography for these marmalades. It's been so fun because we grow the fruit here. And so I've just been playing around with some different product shots that I've never done anything like that before. And it's been really fun. I'm like, this is opening up a whole new avenue of what I could provide service-wise. And I've been receiving little whispers of branding creative for a while now. And it is part of the package with my VIP weekends to do an embodiment brand shoot. I've never really thought of product-based business, so I'm just gonna leave that there. And so the restaurant concept is, like I said, Tukana. It's Espíritu Libre is the tagline, which means free spirit. So very aligned. And it's a beautiful open air space. We have hammocks to hang out. All the food is locally sourced, prepared by my partner, Chef Miguel Carrillo on Instagram. If you want to follow him, his brand is Conscious Cuisine. So everything that he prepares is prepared with love and intention from local products with sourced from farmers that he actually knows and has relationships with. His whole ethos is reconnecting with yourself and through reconnecting with the earth through food. And it's been beautiful to watch his artistry and creativity come alive with this project as well. So that's been one thing that is new in my reality, the reopening of the restaurant, the launching of the product line that's slowly rolling out. We're waiting on some little jars so we can go distribute them to storefronts. And I'm going to create some flyers. I have so much content prepared for Reels that I'm very excited to post. Something that is not surprising to me, but obviously the algorithm loves this brand a lot more than they love my brand. Some of the topics that I discuss get me age restricted a lot of the time. Things from the program we just wrapped up, attention whore, getting turned on by being seen in your leadership, your mission, and your relationships. Um, I also love to talk about sacred sexuality. We have a podcast episode coming up soon that is all about sexual violence against women and this gap in the conversation that we don't hear spoken about very often of what is the energetic and spiritual journey of that experience. We hear a lot about the trauma healing, the nervous system, and we mention those pieces, but returning to your divinity and reestablishing the connection with your heart and your womb is the thing that is going to make the difference from having an experience that solidifies a victim identity and having an experience that rebirths a sovereign creator identity. So keep an eye out for that episode coming soon with Jessica Falcon, who's already been on the podcast before in our sovereign relating episode or sovereign leadership. We did sovereign relating on hers. Borp. Okay. This episode's going to be a little bit chaotic. It's a bit of a brain drain. I have my notes over here of like, okay, these are the things I want to touch on, but this is not a I'm going to teach you how to do something episode. This is really a life update because I have been just pulled in so many meaningful directions that are like branches of my mission that are, I was going to say separate from evolving consciousness, but I don't really believe anything is ever really separate. I just haven't seen as clearly yet the thread through the restaurant. Besides that, I worked in restaurants for 18 years. What is that true? Sometimes I say numbers and amounts of time, and I'm like, wait, where did that come from? Well, I started when I was 15 and I ended when I was 24. So you do the math. I don't care. I want to talk about puppies. The other project that is really taking up a lot of my energetic capacity at my time, and it's in person as well, which I love, as well as having an online like social media marketing component to it, is a nonprofit dog rescue. So, if you have ever been to Mexico, you know anywhere in Latin America, really, there is a stray dog epidemic. The mainstream culture sees dogs as pests here in Mexico and treats them as such. So there were a lot of heartbreaking dog situations that we've witnessed here in this town, from malnourishment to injuries to dog fights to receiving abuse and neglect. And we have a pack of, well, we had a pack of 7 rescues that we walked with every morning. Then 2 more dogs or strays started walking with our pack all the time. And then there was some issues in the village, so we took them in. One of them's currently in our room with a cone on his head because he just got sterilized, which is the first step to eradicating the issue with the dog fights and to ultimately find them a forever home. So if you want the doggy, if you are able to really make such a big impact in these dogs' lives, they will return the favor to you a millionfold. They're all so sweet, and I wish we could keep them all. Um, Reach out, DM me, or go check out the dogs at Pata de Perros Costeño. It's a Spanish account. And that's another thing I didn't mention about the restaurant. The social media creative marketing that I've been doing over there is all in Spanish, same as this account. And so that's been a fun edge to play with too. And trusting myself that like if I don't nail a translation, it's okay, right? Um, so more about the rescue story. We had 7 dogs. We got one adopted. 2 more showed up. And then we were walking with them one morning, and there's a missionary, like a religious missionary base down the street from us. And someone dropped off a litter of abandoned puppies there one morning. And they let us know that they're without their mom and they were going to die if no one did anything. So, of course, we couldn't let that happen. And we reached out to friends and families, past um, like business partners in our network to raise funds to get powdered milk and recovery food for the mom once she showed up, and deworming, deep flea medicine, all of these things that these dogs need. And we ended up raising 1,400 Canadian dollars equivalent in 2 hours. We're like, oh, wow. Okay, this could really be something. We could really make an impact in this little village here for these dogs. So we went ahead and launched the nonprofit. We started to open a foundation. We opened up a bank account for it. We're working on getting a piece of land because right now it is non-sustainable. We have 7 of the dogs in a fenced-in area in the back of the restaurant. One, like I said, is in the room right now. There's some that are upstairs in Pam's room, and there's another property that with casitas that she rents out that we have the puppies and their mom at. So it's chaos mode over here, and this is why I'm coming to you with this yapcast, because I want to invite you into what it's like to rapidly shift timelines and have all of these new opportunities land in and be in the stretch and be in the chaos, and there not be systems and organization and streamlined efficient processes yet. It is the beginning before we build those. A lot of people will delay doing things because they want to have the business plan mapped out. They want to have everything perfectly organized. They want it to be polished and professional. And what I have found is that is a big cock block to your creativity and the impact that you can have when you just take messy action. So, big proponent for being in your feral femme leadership. Case in point. Okay. So my mornings have been looking like this. I wake up at 5:30 a.m. I roll out of bed. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired. Let's go. Let's do this. I go on sometimes it's 20 minutes, sometimes it's an hour walk with the pack, the 7 dogs. And right now we have to do solo walk with the one that just had his sterilization surgery. So there's that afterwards. Then they come in and it's feeding time. So feeding the 8 dogs, and we need to stay there to watch them to make sure nobody is trying any funny business during feeding time, which looks like resource guarding, dog fights. And these dogs really do get triggered by things like scarcity and protecting the property because they didn't have anything, right? A lot of them came to us with like a broken leg, with infestation of fleas and worms and malnourished. So it really means a lot to these dogs and to us to be able to have this reciprocal relationship of care. After I feed the doggies here, I go over to the other property and I feed the mama. Then I bring the puppies out of their enclosure that we just built last night, thankfully, because they were getting out everywhere. Because we had to makeshift move them last minute from the missionary. That's a story for another time. Uh, but yeah, so it's not perfect. before that, before they were feeding for Mama full time, she didn't have her milk supply when we found her. So they were being bottle fed by us every 6 hours. We were going to do that. And then at night, feeding time happens again. All through the day, we have pets and cuddles and silly times. Like today, I looked back at the enclosure and one of them was like swimming in the water bowl. Like, what are you doing? It has been very hot here, which is why I'm in my like little tank top and my little shorts. Uh, and I literally have swamp ass right now sitting on the seat. I want to get them a like hard plastic bath. So everything that we do for these doggies, from feeding them to giving them medications and the medical procedures that they need to be healthy and well and be prepared to be adopted. We also do international adoption. So if you're listening in from Europe, Canada, or the US, you are also eligible to adopt our doggies that we have rescued and rehabilitated. Um, I'm going to be creating a application form very shortly, but we can just do it in the DMs non-formal if that is calling to you. And this comes to the second thing. I have a link in bio in that Instagram, Patas de Perros Custom, and I'll link it in the show notes here too, to donate to the dog rescue. And this makes this care possible and things like bringing the dogs over internationally possible to have sponsorship for that. So if you have the ability to donate in any capacity, like literally even like $10 makes a big difference in what we're able to do for these dogs, then please go ahead and do that. I'm so, so, so grateful. And the doggies are so grateful as well. Our next goal, like I said, is to get a piece of land, and land is actually really inexpensive here. The one we're looking at is equivalent to $5,000 Canadian, and so we'd really love to be able to do that to have a more functional system going on, have more space for the doggies so they don't need to sit in rooms when there's I was gonna say new people in the house, but new doggies in the house because of the protective nature that they have being rescues. So that has been the major thing that is taking up a lot of my space, and it's fulfilling that desire to be more in person, even though I thought it would be with something like the entrepreneur networking day retreats, other day retreats, um, experiences, which I'm going to get to soon, and VIP weekends, which I'm going to get to soon, and the longer retreats, which I'm already also going to get to soon. But I can also see how this is stretching my capacity to figure out how to maintain the online ecosphere in regeneration with the in-person. So very grateful for these doggies. And again, if you have the capacity to support in any way, be that adopt, foster, donate, or even share any of the content that we've created on the Instagram, we'd be very, very, very grateful for your support as it helps us reach more people, create more possibility. And the last thing that's happening with the dogs is that we just got a volunteer onboarded at the other property. And I'm going to be creating a volunteer application. Miguel, my partner, prepared all of the criteria. I just need to put it into a form. So again, reach out if you're interested in a volunteer exchange. So you can come help us take care of the doggies and get to experience jungle life in this beautiful slice of paradise that we live in on the Oaxacan coast. And who knows what else could be created in collaboration and partnership through you just being here in person. There's so much going on, so much opportunity, and so much that needs tended to all the time. Like when I sat down here to record, I heard this crash in the background. I was like, what is that? And I go to investigate, and a big ass bushel of bananas fell off the tree that have been ripening for the past like 2.5 months since I've been here. And they just got so heavy that they literally fell off the tree. I'm like, oh, it's banana time. So I'm going to process those, put them in freezer bags so that we can use them for smoothies that we serve in the restaurant and also serve to ourselves. I'm really grateful for the land here and for all the fruit trees, for all the doggies, and for starting to see the different parts of the big farm vision of the um, eco-residential retreat center, of the resource sharing, skill sharing, regenerative local communities. And even though it hasn't been a linear path whatsoever, I do see the golden thread, the through line of all the things that are in my reality. And I'm just really excited to continue to tend to these land-based projects, which is what I've been saying for the past year. Okay, now bringing it back a little bit to the usual programming of what's happening inside the Evolving Consciousness brand, Evolve with Chenisse. I have some client wins to celebrate from the Audacious program, which is my 3-week intensive that happens inside of Telegram. So I'm going to tell you what we're celebrating for my client inside of there, and then I'm going to tell you what it is. So, first off, she has 4 times the number of clients inside of a paid offer. So, this is absolutely shattering her glass ceiling upper limit of capacity for holding people in her field, which makes me so excited because the work that she does is with overwhelmed moms to be able to pause and be responsive with your children so that they raise self-assured adults that leaves behind this legacy of people that don't have to do all of the fucking trauma healing and relational repatterning that our generation has had to do. So we do it sometimes begrudgingly, sometimes lovingly and gratefully, so that they get to focus more on just being in joyful, playful creativity, right? That's what we want. We want to be in a state of effortless connection. There's a horse walking by right now. And that's not even what we're celebrating the most, okay? It's the feeling of confidence for who she really is, which full circle comes around to the thing that we serve is usually the thing that we need to be served the most, right? And she's been able to drop a lot of the coaching industry vocab and the distance that that creates between your people from this state of like, I'm a serious professional to just connect with overwhelmed moms being someone who gets it. That's the feeling, that exhale, that, okay, I'm seen, I'm heard, I'm held. We've got this, is what we're going for. And that is a major, major, major celebration. Last but not least, we're celebrating her leading decisions from desire instead of urgency of like, I've got to sell, instead of fear of, I'm so scared to be seen, instead of shame, being salesy is bad, right? The work that we do inside of Audacious is tracking all of these identity pieces that are rooted in the old world of the polished perfectionist professional, of the self-abandoning good girl, of the martyr mother, to come back to the seat of self, capital S self, the one who is infinitely creative, courageous, curious, calm, connected, and I'm forgetting the other C's. This is like the C's of the IFS language, which is a big influence on my embodied evolution methodology. The way that I bring it through is more of like an embodied play with some spicy pleasure and audacious dark feminine vibes. So we're bringing those together and disentangling the defenses that have solidified into our identity, our ego, to allow our soul essence to radiate through in the way that we're leading our business and our movement that is leaving a more beautiful, true, connected, joyful, playful generation. That's really why I do anything that I do. And the people that are drawn to my work are rooted in mission in that same way. So this sounds like something that is enticing to you. I invite you to come to my DMs and let's flirt about having you inside of Audacious for 3 weeks of private one-to-one voice messaging mentorship to embody the dark feminine, to be seen and paid for the magnetism of your desires. Is this completely dissolving the paradigm of you need to go to school to or do all this training and certification to have outsourced authority, credentials, degrees, expertise to you are whole and complete exactly as you are. And when you allow what's on the inside to radiate out, the inside being the desires that have been planted in your heart that are the compass for your soul mission, that is when you get to be in your mastery and your genius. And again, this is for mission-driven entrepreneurs that are here for global impact that leaves a legacy of deeper connection for the next generation. This is not for someone who is scared off by shadow work. And I'm noticing that because of my heavy scorpionic energy, a lot of the women in my world, including this client that we're celebrating today, have that soul signature as well. So if you are a Scorpio woman, if you are more concerned with the impact that you leave than the income that you generate in a month period, then let's connect and discuss Audacious. I have 2 spots left for August. All right. We've talked about the restaurant, we've talked about the product line, we've talked about the dogs, we've talked about audacious client wins. Now let's talk about some more back-end celebrations. And I'm like, this is a yapcast. This is also a celebration cast because in the stretch, there is inevitable challenge. And today I've been feeling the like, when you're so fulfilled that you're emptied out, you're like, holy, I gotta pour back into myself. That is the vibe that we're going for. And my favorite way to do that is to celebrate everything that is going well and exciting and new. So that is what we're doing today. And I want to know too, what are you celebrating? What is exciting and new in your reality, life, business relationships right now? Can either comment on the platform that you're listening to this on, or send me a DM. Let's have a personal conversation. I'll fan your flames even more. Okay, y'all. I have been wanting to onboard a VA for like a year and a half. Okay. And no shade, no tea. I had a lot more disposable income to do that before I hopped into this massive business mastermind, the one, and have absolutely wrecked my finances because of it. We're in the process of the the upward spiral post collapse and tower moment. And we are officially not a business of one. We are a business with back-end support. We have finally brought on a VA, and the instant we opened up the chat and I was able to voice like, here's all my brain scramble, here's what I want, this is my vision, this is what I see, like da 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 da. It's just like, okay, yes, this, that, this. Okay, can you bring me clarity here? Like, this is what I'm seeing. And it's like, oh my God, thank God. This is big exhale for my system. So we're celebrating a new website coming because I burnt my Wix one that had the boring beige coaching branding down to the ground almost 2 years ago, also. And I am really excited for you all to see the sales pages that we've created for Audacious and Rebirth. We also have a welcome page that is done, and I'll get into the last page that we're starting next week in a moment. But I just want to really acknowledge how anchoring it is to have sales pages out. And it was something that I resisted for so long because I was in this like polished perfectionist professional and in this hyper independent martyr archetype. Like I tinkered with my website so much, and I'm like, you know what? Let me just sell. Let me just create. Let me just like let the back end be a little hot mess for a second. And sales pages aren't the most important thing, but that became like this big energy leak because whenever I went to talk about my offers, I was like, oh, like I want to give you something, but I don't have anything to give you besides my words and my content, which is you can sell that way. But over the long term, it feels so resourced for your nervous system to have that anchor and have that resource literally to send to people to be like, hey, this is a vibe encapsulation of the entity that is the offer. So those are coming very soon, I think. By the end of next week, the site should be live and published. So check that out very soon. I'm so excited. Okay. Another thing that I've alluded to that's new in my reality. I'm like, wow, this is a lot. No wonder I'm so tired. And today, after my dog duties or between my dog duties, let's be real. Um, oh my God, I forgot to mention during the dog part that like I've also been administering their medication, like defleeing them and cleaning up the mess of the antiparasitics. So that's been a whole journey in its own. But coming back to what I was gonna say is we've been flirting with co-creating, my partner and I, in-person experiences for so long. When we were back in Squamish in Canada, we had this offer that was called Conscious Date Nights, where we came into your home and we prepared a evening of connection exercises. And at that time, it looked like meditation, breath work, Reiki, sound bowls, yin, somatic movement, authentic relating. It was like a 2 hour workshop of connection to replace your like bland, boring date night of like going to dinner, going to the movies, of something where you're just gonna kind of have a surface level connection versus when you're intentionally curating, being held in a curated space that you don't have to plan. You don't even have to leave your house for. All you have to do if you have children is arrange for someone to watch your children, which I know is its own feat. but then you get to have this depth of connection of like locating yourself in within all of the chaos of all of the things all the time. And then my partner's contribution was his conscious cuisine experience while I was facilitating the workshops. He was preparing a meal, and so it's like the sensory experience starting to start as you smelled the sound, yes, in dysphagia, this is for real, but you smelled the sense of what he was baking, and then he facilitated a conscious eating workshop that is his own methodology that I love. I'm excited for him to do more of that again. Um, yeah, so that was a 3 hour experience that we offered there. And when we moved here, we envisioned doing it, and it's been a whirlwind of all the things since we've been here. It hasn't materialized yet. However, we have been pitching hotels and retreat centers to do these in-person experiences again with the conscious date night to um, like more of a sisterhood event to more professional networking facilitation. And I'm really excited for this to happen. I don't exactly know when it's going to be, but it is something that we are tending to in the background as well. So I wanted to give that one a shout out. Something I'm realizing that is a function of this podcast is like a manifestation tool. The more I share my voice, the more I share my vision, the more I celebrate what I'm excited about out loud, the more people engage with that, the more people perceive it, the more real it becomes, the more perspective points get woven into the vision to anchor it into reality. And so, thank you for being here. Thank you for celebrating with me. Thank you for getting excited. Thank you for coming along for the journey of the yapcast and all the new things that are happening right now. It's very therapeutic for me to sit down and have this space with you. And I love when the conversation gets to be reciprocal, where I'm receiving DMs or comments that are answering the questions or continuing the conversation. Okay, starting to wrap it up. The last page of the website that is being created this week is for the elusive rebirth retreat that I have been choosing for like 2 years now. And it's interesting with these things. It's like I want it to happen. I see it. It's so real. I feel it. Like I have an idea of who would be there, of all the things. And yet, like whenever I set a date and start to and choose a location, like everything is coming together, everything falls apart. I'm like, okay, well, this is just another layer of becoming the person, of anchoring the identity and the frequency of the person that is meant to hold the retreat. So we continue. So right now the retreat is set to take place at the beginning of next year, 2027. And the rebirth retreat functions in this like weave of energies. It's about, yes, going into the depths of the unconscious, and we're going to play with the sacred theater and unravel the core four exiles of fear, rage, grief, and shame. But we're also gonna have a lot of fun and be silly and playful and explore in nature and swim under the stars. Sure, but I was gonna say dance under the stars, swim in the ocean, gather and sing around the fire, be in ceremony, and also create some really badass brand assets and set in motion big, bold, audacious moves in your mission-driven business. And I know that the women who are called to come to this retreat are women who are also dreaming of communal child rearing, of anchoring the New Earth villages, of having deep relationship of stewardship and reciprocity with the land that they live on. And so, yes, I'm excited to facilitate this transformational retreat experience. But even more beyond that, I'm excited to attract the founding members of the farm project, right? It's like this is a retreat model, but we also get to live in residencies. I was just seeing on Facebook like this person who creates all over the world these co-living residencies, and non-officially, I did live in one in Squamish. There are 8 of us living in this mansion. We're all entrepreneurs. Um, but there wasn't a like shared commitment. There wasn't this central driving force of like glue that kept us together of this project that we're all co-creating. And that is so necessary for the success of these businesses because literally all of the relationships in that co-living situation collapsed. And every time we tried to have a a shared project like the backyard garden or like a spring cleaning or a house meeting or a house dinner, it's like everybody's individual businesses and projects and lives always took precedence over the collective that we were trying to cultivate, and it was a source of a lot of frustration. And so I'm really excited every time I see someone who is executing this well. Some other people I'll shout out is apparently we're clearing a lot today on the yapcast, which is no surprise. Um, Retribalize on Instagram. I'm not sure of his actual name, but he has successfully created residencies in a brotherhood model where they're launching a business. They have created an app that helps people find their people to build residencies with, to retribalize, right? Rebuild a village, rebuild a tribe, like it's same, same, but different. And so if you're like, oh my gosh, yes, this is me. Like I love gardening, I love food forests, I love permaculture, I love children, I love unschooling, jungle schooling, free birthing, homesteading, homemaking. If that is your vibe, then the Rebirth Retreat is for you. So it's going to really serve that function of what is asked of us relationally to rewire our Western mind of my personal individual project first, of not receiving support, of sucking at empowered vulnerability, at conflict resolution, all of the relational skills that and emotional capacity, right? To successfully live in a village, to successfully create residencies and cooperative land stewardship and collaborative businesses, right? This is what is the gap, really. And it's so fascinating that I've been seeing so many of these projects of eco-residential retreat centers and just like land-based projects with people who haven't done the work to decondition the Western corporate model, and seeing like the challenges that the business, the project are facing, and getting to learn from that and apply that in the life alchemy that we drop into in both Rebirth, the program, and the retreats. The retreats is just like a microcosm of the macrocosm of the year-long journey that we go on through the Rebirth spiral in that program. I'm not going to talk too much about that one today, but coming in an episode near you and sales page coming soon. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Oh, shout out to my VA. Thank you so much for the support in getting these sales pages and this website published. Speaking of publishing, this is not on my list of things that I wanted to talk about, but I've been wanting to write a book for so long. I've been wanting to film a movie from the book for so long. And you know the thing like when it has like the power to really transform your life and make a big impact on a lot of people, it's like the hardest thing to prioritize and keeps being like swept to the back. So that's happening. So I just want to mention this shout out quickly because in the last spotlight session, Shame to Power that happened synchronistically. I did not plan it that way. It was planned for me. On the total solar eclipse in Leo last week, when are we? Yeah, this week. Um, I was talking about my story. So there were some new people in the space there, and ooh, something exciting is coming with the spotlight too that I'll bring through in a second here. I wasn't planning on sharing either. Um, she was like, "What are you writing a book? That's a book." And I'm like, "I know, girly." So I've had this idea, and it is the villager way. I've always found more ease in bringing a creation through to manifested form, physical reality when I do it in a collective. And so if you have a book idea, I almost dropped my water bottle all over this laptop that I'm borrowing, that has been calling to you, let's write together. Like, I want to create a space where we can keep each other accountable to writing our books, where we can mastermind on the structural pieces, where we can have a network of support through the finding an editor, through if you're like self-publishing or if you're going with a publisher, making proposals, all of that together. It's like the starting artist, like martyr alone, locked away in your cabin method and model of creativity is just like not one that appeals to me. Which is funny because it's like I'm a multidimensional nonlinear woman, clearly. and and human design, I'm a 2/4, so I have my two hermit lines, so I very much am like, I need to be alone. I need to like be in my own energy, my own frequency for my creativity to thrive. And then my four line is opportunist. So I'm like, I need my community. I need to be in the collective. I'll do my best work in collaboration. And this creates a beautiful, chaotic paradox of who I am. So if that sounds appealing to you, send me a DM. Let's get it going. Um, very excited for the book writing process. Okay, Spotlight. Spotlight, if you don't know, is a monthly call that I've been holding on Wednesdays where we dive into an emotional alchemy process, an embodied evolution process inside of the Sacred Theater. And the Sacred Theater is one of my favorite places to be. It is intense, it is uncomfortable, it is liberating, it is raw character play where you get to comment and really be seen in these different characters that exist within you so that you can become familiarized with the sensations, thoughts, the beliefs that that character possesses and have practice connecting with those while being witnessed by an audience who is there cheering you on with unconditional love and support. So that when you are in your leadership position, when you are in the eye of the storm of a chaotic real life moment, that you can recognize that character wanting to take the wheel and have the nervous system training and capacity to shift into a character of your conscious choice. And so this past spotlight, we did the shift from shame to power. And I want to be so clear about my definition and understanding of integration and the way that I facilitate integration is, and I'm borrowing this definition from IFS. I just read the Nomad Parts book. Highly recommend if you have not read that one. Anybody who's facilitating any type of transformational work, I think it is your due diligence to understand the IFS framework. So they define integration more like a fruit salad than a smoothie, right? So we're not trying to get rid of shame. We're not trying to only always ever be in our power. It's about being able to accept and recognize and have the vagal tone and nervous system flexibility to shift from one to the other in real time. And so in that session, I'm realizing that the spotlight wants a longer term home rather than being this pop-up like masterclass style offer that I'm selling every month. Am I gonna say it? Like, I haven't said this publicly yet. I will be launching a membership for the Spotlight. So it'll include the monthly Spotlight call, and we're going to expand from the core four exiles into secondary emotions. So some that will be coming up soon are embarrassment to play and guilt to permission, which are gonna be so juicy. I'm also creating a resource that is absolutely debunking the bullshit model of the different like frequencies of consciousness of different emotions that has like desire way at the like low frequency that has like enlightenment at the top, and it's this linear hierarchical patriarchal bullshit motherfucking model. We're like no 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 no. No, that model has I've every time I've seen it, I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. So I'm creating my own, and it's gonna live inside of the membership space alongside Spotlight, alongside a intimate community of group mentorship to anchor the momentum, to be with the shift that's happening inside of those emotional alchemical themes in a village model of like we're doing this together. We have that at some capacity inside of the Born to Be Wild space, but it's getting a little like a little like crazy chaotic in there. We just wrapped up Attention Whore. That was like, my most audacious program yet. I'm still integrating what came through in that. And I want to continue to launch free programs in there. And with that, I want to have a more intimate space to do the more intimate group coaching because it's impossible for me to be present and following up with everyone in a free space, which is what I used to try to do. And we're cutting out that broke healer, starving artist bullshit, right? We are rich revolutionaries over here on the Rich Revolutionary podcast. And that means we are rich in unconditional love for ourselves first. We're rich in truth. And we are rich in freedom. Freedom to create a life from overflow and abundance. And I'm very excited to anchor the membership. And this isn't something that has been on my heart for a long time. When I entered the big business mastermind, I was about to launch a membership. And the manuscript of that space, it's like, don't launch a membership until you have XYZ going on in your core offers. It's harder to sell, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you know what? I'ma do what my heart desires and what I want to do. And I'm following the rule book of nobody else. In fact, I'm gonna burn that shit and dance around the fire. That's a photo shoot that I've been wanting to create. I like a brand creative for a while, so I don't know when that'll happen, but that is coming up at some point. Okay, let's start to wrap it up because I don't know how long I've been yapping, but I feel my throat chakra. I'm like itching and like also it's dry. That's how I know it's been a good solo episode. I want to leave on an invitation to the VIP somatic rebirth weekends. That is like I think it's the thing in my business I'm most excited about is to bring people here to the coast of Oaxaca to initiate you into the wild, feral womb wisdom of Mexico and the jungle of the land here, and getting to one-on-one really deep dive into your embodiment, your energy body, your emotional body, do some witchy alchemy, sit in Temescal together, do the embodiment brand photo shoot, collaborate with a photographer, create some badass brand assets, map out your big moves that are going to explode your mission and root it deeply into your body on a solid foundation. So we're vision casting, but rather than like vision casting out there, we're like vision casting, anchoring it into the body. Like, wait a minute. Should I read the testimonial that I got from the last vision casting call that I did? It is actually the like most phenomenal testimonial that I've ever gotten. And I'm just like blasting it out everywhere because I'm so excited about it. So, first of all, let me finish what I was saying. If you want to receive the most intimate, life-changing weekend experience with me here, DM me about the VIP weekend retreat, and I can't wait to spoil you. Okay. Now I promise this will be the last thing because I gotta edit this episode and get it up. The podcast has been something that has been a bit of a challenge since I don't have an editor yet. That's next on the resource list with the puppies in the restaurant and the sales pages and um, client work and spotlight and attention to our program and all the things. I'm like, podcast, you're gonna have to take a seat in the back burner for a second. But we're back. And let's close it off with a testimonial from the one and only the cosmic songbird, Natalie Farrell, who is the real deal powerhouse, too lit to be limited queen that does voice mentorship and is stepping into her audacious agency identity. So here's what she said from receiving a vision casting call as the giveaway winner of the 1 year of the Rich Revolutionary podcast. Here's what she had to say. There are sessions that give you insight, then there are sessions that change the way you understand your entire life. Working with Chenisse was one of those moments. I went into our vision casting call session willing to be stretched beyond my edge, determined to stay completely present with whatever emerged. I thought we would be working with my own voice. Instead, my grandfather arrived. Without warning, my body froze. My hands began to flicker. My face became hot. I couldn't speak. As Chenisse gently asked what I was experiencing, I realized I wasn't just talking about myself anymore. I remember that my grandfather lost his voice for the final decades of his life. He wasn't encouraged to speak. His silence had become something my body still remembered. Chenisse didn't rush to fix it. She helped me stay with it. Together, we uncovered something I'd never consciously connected before. Perhaps part of my life's work, helping people reclaim their voice, is also honoring the voice that was never heard in my own family. She helped me discover that my grandfather isn't simply part of my past. He can become a source of stability, safety, and strength whenever I step onto a stage or into difficult conversations. That single reframe changed everything. A few years ago, my inner child would have shied away by Chenisse's presence. Today, I simply know we're meant to create together. We are audacious sisters. There's something extraordinary about the way she holds both fierce power and profound compassion. She creates a space where your nervous system feels safe enough to tell the truth your mind has been unable to access. If you're ready to meet the parts of yourself you've been avoiding and discover the wisdom waiting beneath them, work with Chenisse. Some sessions stay in your notebook. This one will stay in my bones. Mic drop. I'm going to close it there. If you have any questions about the million and one things that I've shared about in this solo yapcast, please reach out to me in the DMs. If anything triggered you, if anything left you with an insight, reach out to me in the DMs. If you have the capacity to support the nonprofit dog rescue, Pata de Perros Castaños, I'll have the link to donate in the show notes. And again, any amount helps. And thank you for your generosity with that and to those both donated already. It's been such a ride to be able to provide a care and love for these doggies. So be it a cash donation, be it a inquiry for adoption or fostering available internationally, or be it sharing our content to expand our reach. Very grateful for your support in it all. If you are interested in hearing more details about Audacious, about the Rebirth Retreat, or the VIP weekends, then keep an eye out for the sales page that is coming very soon. Or again, come flirt with me in the DMs on Instagram. I will be waiting for you there. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Ritual Revolutionaries podcast. And it means so much to me if you are able to leave a comment, leave a rating review, or share it on your Instagram stories with what was most impactful, again, to help expand the reach and move the mission forward. I love you, and I'll see you in an episode soon.